If you run TicketsCAD, updates come out regularly. Bug fixes, new features, security patches. This video is about how you get them onto your server using a tool called Git. By the end, you will have Git installed, your TicketsCAD folder connected to it, and a 4-step routine you can repeat forever. This covers Linux and macOS together, because once Git is installed, they behave almost identically. Where they differ, I will say so at the time. You do not need to be a programmer. Setting this up is about 25 commands, and about half of them are just checks that tell you where you are or confirm the last step worked. 4 commands do the actual conversion of your folder, and of those 4, only 1 touches files you already have. After today, updating is a different and shorter 4, every time, backup, pull, migrate, reload. Start with what Git actually is, because the name makes it sound harder than it is. Git is a way of getting files that remembers where they came from. Think of it like this. Downloading a zip file is a photocopy. You get the pages, and the copy has no idea which book it came from, or whether a newer edition exists. Cloning with Git is more like a subscription. You get the same pages, plus a note recording exactly which book and which edition you have, so asking for the latest is a single question. That question has a name, and it is the command you will end up living in, git pull. It means, is there a newer edition of this, and if so, send it. That is the whole of it. That note lives in a hidden folder called .git inside your TicketsCAD folder. On Linux and macOS, files beginning with a dot are hidden by default, which is why a plain ls will not show it. You will never need to open it. But whether it is, there is the entire difference between updating in one command and not being able to update at all. There are 2 situations you might be in right now, and this video covers both. Installing Git comes first either way, so do not skip that. After it, the paths differ, and I will say clearly which parts are yours. If you already have TicketsCAD in a folder, every step matters to you, including the checks and the backup. If you do not have it on this machine yet, you have nothing to check and nothing to back up, so you will skip ahead to the section called Path 1, a fresh clone, and I will name it on screen when it arrives. One short section before it is for everybody though. It is called 2 of you on this machine, and it is the one thing you should not skip. And the last few minutes are for everybody as well, whichever path you took, because the update routine and the security check apply to both. First, install Git. Open a terminal on the machine that runs TicketsCAD. On a Mac, the terminal is in Applications, then Utilities. If TicketsCAD is on a different machine, which is common, connect to it with SSH first, that is SSH, then your username, and @, then the server's address, and the address you use in a browser to reach TicketsCAD usually works. The first time, it asks whether you trust this machine, and you type yes. Then it asks for your password and shows nothing at all as you type, not even dots. That is normal, and you will see it again in a moment. Everything from here happens on the machine where TicketsCAD lives, not on your laptop. Which commands you use depends on which Linux you have, and if you do not know, this tells you type cat /etc/os-release. The first line names it. If it says Debian or Ubuntu, which covers most TicketsCAD servers, run sudo apt update, then sudo apt install git and answer y when it asks whether to continue. Sudo means run this as the administrator, and it will ask for your password. The password will not appear as you type it, not even as dots. That is deliberate, not a broken keyboard. On Red Hat, Rocky, or Fedora, the command is sudo dnf install git instead. On macOS, the simplest route is to type git -- version in the terminal. If git is missing, macOS offers to install the developer command line tools for you. Accept it and let it finish. If you use Homebrew, brew install git works too. Whichever route you took, confirm it worked. Git -- version should print a version number. If it says command not found, the install did not complete, and nothing else in this video will work until it does. Check PHP as well, because you will need it shortly. php-, version should print a version. On a server that runs TicketsCAD, this is almost always present. If it says command not found, there are 2 likely reasons. One is that TicketsCAD is running in Docker. Docker runs TicketsCAD inside a sealed box called a container. The program lives in the box, your server is the host outside it, and there is no PHP on the host at all, which is expected. The Docker notes later replace the PHP commands entirely. If you are not sure whether that is you, docker space ps lists your containers, and there will be a docker-compose.ynl file sitting beside your TicketsCAD folder. The other reason is simply that the command line version of PHP is not installed, even though your site runs perfectly well without it. On Debian or Ubuntu, sudo apt install hpb-cli fixes that. On Red Hat, Rocky, or Fedora, it is sudo dnf install hpe-cli, and on a Mac, brew install hpe. The next few minutes are for people who already have TicketsCAD in a folder. If you are setting up a brand new copy, skip ahead to the section called Path 1, a fresh clone, but stop on the way for the short section called 2 of you on this machine, because that part is yours too. I will see you there. Everybody else, find that folder first. On most Linux servers, it sits under /var/www, and if you are not sure which one it is, which is very common on a server somebody else set up, one command finds it, sudo space find space /var/www space -name space run_migrations.ehpe. On screen, that command carries a depth limit, only to keep the output short. If it finds nothing, run it again without the limit. If it still finds nothing, widen where it looks rather than how deep, and search from / instead. A Mac has no /var/www at all, and a Docker install keeps its files wherever you put the compose folder. That wider line is on screen. Then move the terminal into whatever it found, with cd, which means change directory, followed by the path. Confirm you are in the right place. Type ls space index.ehpa. ls just lists files. If it lists that one, you are there. If it says no such file or directory, you are in the wrong folder, and the find command from a moment ago will tell you the right one. Do not continue until that command lists a file. One more check, and this one matters enough that I want you to actually run it. Type ls space sql/run_migrations.php. This one is a stop sign, so let me be exact. If that command lists the file, you are on version 4, and you carry on. If it says no such file, do not go any further yet, because one more check settles it. Version 3.44, the older interface, also has an index.php, which is why the first check on its own cannot tell the two apart. Running the rest of this video against a version 3 install would replace its program files with version 4 files and break it. So type ls space -d space a pi. If it lists a PI, you are on version 4, and you carry on even though that migrations file was missing because the checkout later brings it in. If it says no such file, you are on 3.44. That is not a fault, and it is not a dead end. Going from 3 to 4 is its own upgrade with its own steps, and the guide is called Upgrading from v3 in the docs folder of the project. Nothing you do today should touch this folder. This next minute is for everybody, whichever path you are on, so stay with me even if you skipped ahead. It is specific to Linux and macOS, and it causes more confusion afterwards than anything else here. There are 2 of you on this machine. There is you, logged in at this terminal. And there is the web server, a separate program, Apache or nginx, that started when the machine booted and has been running ever since, serving pages to everyone who visits. It is logged in too, as its own user, usually called www-data on Debian and Ubuntu. Owning a file simply means being allowed to write it. So when the web server needs to write an upload or a cached map tile and that folder belongs to you instead of to it, it cannot, and the site fails in ways that look nothing like a Git problem. One command fixes that, and I will show you it at the point where it matters. Before anything changes, back up. 2 things, both quick, and you want both because they protect different things. First, the database, which is every incident, every unit, every person, and every note. Type ehp space tools /backup_run.ehpc space -- force. The -- force matters far more than it looks. Without it, the command only backs up if one is due on a schedule. Otherwise, it prints no backup due and exits successfully, having backed up nothing at all. That looks exactly like it worked. It does the same thing just as quietly if automatic backups are switched off in settings. And notice where it puts the file. On older versions, that folder is inside the one your web server publishes, which is exactly why a later release moved it out and why you will move this file across in a few minutes. You want to see starting backup? Then OK with the file name, then verified. If instead you get could not open input file, then your install is older than version 4.1 and that tool does not exist yet. take the backup from inside TicketsCAD instead, Settings, then Backup/Maintenance, then Download Full Backup. That route works on every version. If instead it says Permission Denied, this folder belongs to the web server rather than to you. That is common, and we fix it properly in a few minutes. For now, run just this one command as the web server, sudo --u www-data, then the same PHP line. On Red Hat, Rocky, and Fedora, that account is called Apache instead, and on a Mac it is _www, and the names are on screen under the command. If it says something different, cannot create backup directory, read the path in that message because it tells you which of two things has happened. If that path sits inside this folder, the line above is still your answer. If it sits one level up instead, the folder is simply not there yet, and neither of you can make it because the folder above belongs to root. The three short lines on screen make it. The middle one takes the same account name as before, so Apache or _www if that is yours, and .. in all three means the folder above this one. They are the same three redo properly later. Then run the backup command again, and this time it works. And if you run TicketsCAD under Docker, use that same settings page for this one, it puts the file on your own machine, safely off the server altogether. There is a command form as well, and it is in the Docker section later. Do not skip the backup just because you are on Docker. Second, copy the whole folder. The database backup does not contain program files, so if you have edited any TicketsCAD file yourself, this copy is the only thing protecting it. Type sudo cp --a --dot/tickets CAD before -git. cp is copy. The dot means this folder, the one you are standing in. -a means copy it exactly, every file including the hidden ones, with permissions and dates intact, which a plain copy does not do. Sudo matters here. Your config file is usually readable only by the web server, so without it, the copy quietly skips the one file you would most want back. And ~/ puts it in your home folder, which is the easy way to keep it out of the folder your web server serves, because it is a whole second copy of your site, uploads and all, quietly going out of date. Then check that the config file really is in there, because that is the one that would have been missed. Now the two paths, and if you skip the checks and the backup because you have nothing installed yet, this is the point I sent you to. First, if you do not have TicketsCAD on this machine yet, or you are setting up a fresh copy alongside an existing one, this is the simple case. Run this from your web root, which on most Linux servers is /var/www. macOS has no such folder, and a Docker install lives in your Compose project folder. The note on screen names the other two, and not from inside an existing copy. Sudo git clone, then the address of the project, then the name you want the folder to have. I'm calling it NewUI here to match the rest of this video. That creates the folder, the program files, and the hidden .git note in one step. It needs sudo because the web root belongs to root, and so now does your new folder until you take it. Then 4 short things, and they are the whole of path 1. First, take ownership, so you are the one who can run git pull from now on. That command has your own username in it, and www-data after the colon, the $ID-UN on screen just fills your name in for you, and www-data is the web server's own account. It is Apache on Red Hat, Rocky, and Fedora, and _www on a Mac, and all 3 are on screen. Use whichever one is yours and every command below that has it. Second, hand the web server the 2 folders it writes to, uploads and cache. Third, make the backups folder. It goes beside your install rather than in it, because that is where TicketsCAD writes database backups now, and the update routine cannot run without it. The 2770 on that last line keeps it shared between you and the web server. A group is just a list of users who share access, and both of you write there. Then cd into the folder, because every command after this expects to run from inside it. You now have the program files, but a fresh copy is not yet a running site. It still needs a database and a config file, and that is the separate installation video, not this one. Go there next. Then come back here for the last few sections, starting with the 4-step update routine. Everything from there to the end of this video applies to you exactly as it does to a converted zip install. What comes between now and then is mostly the conversion itself, which you do not need. The one part in there that is also yours is the ownership section, and you have already run its commands. The second path, and the far more common one. You installed TicketsCAD by downloading a zip file. Then you try to update with a pull, you type git pull, and you get this. Fatal, not a Git repository. It stops before it starts. Repository is just Git's word for a folder that has the node in it, so all Git is telling you is that your folder does not have one yet. Nothing is wrong with your install. This is the photocopy problem from the beginning of the video. A zip download is just the files. There's no .git folder inside it, so Git has nothing recording where the code came from and nowhere to pull from. The good news is that you do not need to reinstall and you do not lose anything. Before we fix it, be clear about what is safe, because you are about to run a command with the word force in it, and you should know exactly what it touches. Here is the part that matters most if you are used to zip files. Your incidents, your units, your people, and your notes are not in this folder at all. They live in the database, which MySQL keeps in a completely different part of the disk, /var/lib/mysql on a standard Linux server. Nothing in this video goes near that path. What is in this folder is only the program. And within the program folder, your config file with your database password, your encryption keys, your uploads, your cache, and any file you save there under a name of your own are all untouched. You do not have to take my word for that. In a couple of minutes, you will run git status, and those files of your own will be listed as untracked, which is Git saying, I can see this and I will not touch it. Your config file, your keys, your uploads, and your cache will not appear there at all, which is stronger. They are on Git's ignore list, so Git does not even look at them. There is one exception, and it is worth hearing now rather than discovering afterwards. If you have edited one of TicketsCAD's own program files, most commonly .htaccess, a small Apache settings file that sits in the folder, or docker-compose.yml, that edit gets put back to the official version. If you have never knowingly opened either, this does not apply to you. If you have, the folder copy from the backup step is what protects it, because a database backup cannot bring a program file back, and at the end of this video, I show you how to take that one file back out of the copy. Know what it costs you though. Once your edit is back in place, Git can see one of its own files changed, so a later git pull, the first one that also changes that file, starts with an error instead of updating. That message, and the command that clears it, are also at the end. 4 commands, and I will explain each one as we go rather than have you paste 4 things you do not understand. One check first, type ls space -ld space dot. If that says the folder is already owned by www-data rather than by you, take it back with sudo chown-R, your own username, www-data space dot. Otherwise, Git stops at the very first command with the words dubious ownership. On screen, that username is written as the same shorthand again, $ID-UN in brackets, and typing your own name does exactly the same thing. And on Red Hat, Rocky and Fedora, the name after the colon is Apache, and on a Mac it is _www, use the one your own machine shows because the wrong one is a refusal. Command 1 is init. Git init creates the hidden .git folder inside the folder you already have. It downloads nothing and changes none of your files. It just starts keeping the note. It may print a paragraph about the name master and default branches. Ignore that. It is Git being chatty about naming, not an error. Git remote @origin tells that note where the project lives. 3 words to know here because they appear in almost every message from now on. Origin is simply a nickname for the address, so that later commands can say origin instead of the whole web address. A branch is a named line of the project's history, and main is the name of the branch everybody runs, the released one. So origin/main just means the released line of work over at that address. Then git fetch downloads the project history without touching a single one of your files yet. It also lists the project's tags, which are just markers naming each released version, and you do not have to do anything with them. That fetch is the one step in this video that talks to the internet. So if it stops with could not resolve host or fail to connect, the problem is your network rather than TicketsCAD. The 4th command is the one that changes files. Git checkout -f-B main origin/main. It switches your folder to the current released code. The -f means force, and it is genuinely required. Without it, Git refuses, because it can see your existing files and will not overwrite them unless you tell it to. That is the step your backup was for. How to tell it worked. You will see 2 or 3 lines. The first is about tracking, and that just means your folder now remembers where to pull from, which is good news. Then comes the one that matters, and it is one of two messages depending on whether your folder had heard of main before, either reset branch main, which is the one you will almost certainly see, or switched to a new branch main. Both mean exactly the same thing, and both mean success. New there would mean new to your folder, not a new version of TicketsCAD. Main is the same release line it always was. Your folder simply had no name for it until now. And do not read the word reset as something having gone wrong. Then run git status. You want 2 lines. On branch main, and your branch is up to date with origin/main. You may also see a list of untracked files. Untracked means Git can see them and will not touch them. Usually they are yours, notes, an old README, something you saved. But read that list rather than dismissing it, because copying a zip over a folder never deletes anything, so if that is how you used to update, some of those names can be old TicketsCAD files that newer releases removed. Anything you recognize as your own, keep. Anything that looks like a TicketsCAD file you did not create, leave alone and ask before deleting it. Now that ownership note I promised, and it is a conditional one, so look before you type anything. Run ls -ld uploads cache. Those are the 2 folders the web server writes to on its own. If they come back owned by you rather than by the web server, the step is yours. If they already say www-data on Debian and Ubuntu, or Apache on Red Hat, Rocky and Fedora, or _www on macOS, then the files already belong to it, and the first of the next 4 commands is not yours. And from here on, wherever I say www-data, use whichever of those 3 your own machine just showed, because the wrong one is a refusal, not a warning. Stay for the rest either way, because the backups folder still needs setting up, and since version 4.2.3 it is not inside this folder at all. It sits 1 level above the install, which is outside what your web server publishes if your install is itself the web root. If it is not, if TicketsCAD sits in a subfolder of the web root, then 1 level up is still published. Check it the way TicketsCAD itself does, Settings, then System Health, and the row called Backup Archive Location. It says where your archives really are, and whether anything on this machine publishes that folder. Then prove it by hand, your site address /backup/ and then a file name from Settings, then Backup, a file name, not the folder. A folder that answers forbidden proves nothing, because the folder can refuse while an archive inside it still downloads in full, and each archive is your whole database. Anything but not found, and the same web server hardening page I send you to at the end of this video covers that folder too. On shared hosting, where everything already runs as your own account, the chown and chmod lines are not yours, and neither is the check. 2 things in there still are, and the second needs the first, make the backups folder 1 level up, then move the backup you took earlier into it, out of the folder your site publishes. And neither of those 2 need sudo here. And on Docker, those 3 folders are kept by Docker itself, outside the part that gets replaced, so this section is not yours either. 4 short commands to type, then 1 to check. Hand uploads and cache to the web server, sudo chown-R, www-data:/www-data, then upload / then cache /. If you would rather not work out which of the 3 names your own machine uses, the line under it, sudo php-tools /fix-permissions.php, asks the running server itself and does it for you. As the different one, all 3 of the commands that follow say /backups, where .. means the folder above this one, and every one of them needs sudo, because that folder above belongs to root. Sudo mkdir -p /backups makes it. Then chown-R, your own username, www-data ... /backups. Then chmod2770 ... /backups. A group is just a list of users who share access, and 2770 keeps that shared group on everything created inside, so neither of you locks the other out. And if that backup earlier printed a path in this folder, its file is still sitting there, move it up with the MV line on screen. Now list all 3 together, .git, /backups, and uploads. Backups is shared because both of you write there, you from the terminal, TicketsCAD from the backup page in Settings. The hidden .git folder stays yours alone, because you are the one who runs git pull. That is why you must never hand the whole folder to the web server with a dot instead of naming folders. The dot takes .git with it, and your very next pull fails with dubious ownership. If you have already done that, the recovery is at the bottom of the screen. Run it, then run the uploads and cache command again, because taking the whole folder back takes those 2 with it. 2 commands to finish. The code is new, so bring the database structure into line with it. php-sql/run_migrations.php. Then php-tools/check-schema.php confirms the two match. You want schema OK, and schema is just that database structure, the tables and the columns. If it says the schema is behind, run check-schema again with --repair. If it still reports a problem after that, it is a real gap in TicketsCAD rather than something you did wrong. Open an issue and paste the output. And if either of those two commands stops with permission denied opening the config file, that is the same ownership problem as the backup earlier, put sudo -u www-data in front of it, exactly as you did there. If you are running TicketsCAD under Docker, replace both of those PHP commands with a single one, docker compose up-d-build. The container applies its own migrations when it starts. The --build matters, because a plain poll does not update a container that is already running. It also restarts the container for you, so the web server reload in the next step is not yours to do. 2 more Docker notes while this is on screen. Every PHP command in this video, including the restore command at the end, runs the same way inside the container, prefixed with docker compose exec app php. And app there is simply the name your compose file gives. TicketsCAD, it is the line-reading app with a colon on the end near the top of that file. One reassurance too, because you are about to be told to back up before every update. The compose file that ships with TicketsCAD has docker keep the backups folder itself, outside the part that gets replaced, so a backup you take inside it survives the rebuild. Then reload your web server. PHP can keep a compiled copy of your program files in memory. On most servers, it notices the change within a couple of seconds, but not on all of them, and where it does not, the site behaves exactly as though the update failed. Reloading costs a second and removes the doubt, so just do it. Sudo systemtl reload Apache 2 on Debian and Ubuntu. On Red Hat, Rocky, and Fedora, it is the same command, but the service is called httpd, not Apache 2. Or nginx, or your php-fpm service, if that is what you run. On a Mac, it is a different command altogether, because macOS has no systemctl at all. Use sudo apachectl, graceful instead. Systemcl is -active, and the same service name confirms it came back on Linux. Now open TicketsCAD in your browser, log in, and look at the dashboard. That is the proof. It is the only thing that shows the site actually works, rather than that some commands ran without complaining. The About page, in the user menu at the top right, shows a version number, and on a current install, a git pull moves it. On older installs, that number was read from your own config file, which Git deliberately never touches, so it can sit unchanged after a perfectly good update. Either way, do not treat it as the test. The dashboard coming up is the test. And if the site does not come up, you are not stuck. You took 2 backups earlier, and the end of this video is how you use them. From here on, you never do any of that again. Updating TicketsCAD is 4 short steps, and it is the same every single time. 1. Backup, with the same backup command, because migrations often change the shape of your database when you update. On Docker, that one is the same command with docker compose exec app php in front of it, and it is on screen in the list. 2. Pull. That is git pull, the single question from the beginning of this video, and you already know what it does. 3. Run migrations. 4. Reload the web server, the same command as a moment ago on Red Hat, Rocky, and Fedora. The service is httpd rather than Apache 2, and on a Mac that is sudo apachectl, graceful. Backup, pull, migrate, reload. And if you needed the sudo-u prefix earlier to read the config file, it still applies to steps 1 and 3. Then open it and look, exactly as you just did, because that is still the only thing that proves it worked. On Docker, steps 3 and 4 collapse into the one docker compose up-d-build from earlier. How often? Once a month is plenty, and running it when there is nothing new is harmless. If migration says everything is up to date, that is a normal result and not a failure. It means that release did not change the database. And if git pull says already up to date, you simply have the latest version already. The whole routine comes back on screen at the end there, and that is the part worth writing down. 4 short things are left after this, and all 4 are worth knowing before you need them. And 1 habit to retire. Do not download a zip and copy it over this folder anymore, not even once. The folder now keeps its own note about what it has, and copying files in behind Git's back is exactly what makes updates start refusing later. Git pull is now the only way you bring new code in. There is one message worth recognizing, because it is the only thing that normally stops this routine, and it is the one I warned you about if you put an edited file back. You run a pull, and instead of updating, Git says your local changes would be overwritten by merge. That means you edited one of TicketsCAD's own program files, and Git is refusing to throw your edit away silently. That is Git protecting you, not a failure. Copy that, file somewhere safe if the edit mattered, then run the same force command from earlier, git checkout-f-B main origin/main. Git pull will work again afterwards. One more thing, worth knowing before you need it, which is how to undo. This is the database undo and only the database to go back to older program files you use Git. php-space-tool/restore.php-space-list shows you the backups you have in that folder beside your install. It only reads that one folder, which is why, if you took a backup before the update, you moved it up into that folder earlier. On Docker, these three commands run inside the container prefixed with docker compose exec app. And if any of the three stops with permission denied opening the config file, the same sudo-u prefix from earlier applies here too. Now the careful way to put one back. Run it with -- file and the file name, and nothing else. Without --yes, it only tells you what it would do and changes nothing at all. Read that and make sure it is the backup you meant. Then run the same command again with --yes on the end, and it actually restores. It also takes a safety copy of your current database before it writes anything, so even restoring the wrong file is undoable. That is the database. If instead it is a program file you need back, the htaccess you customized, say the folder copy is just a plain copy of files. Do not put that one straight back though. The htaccess that ships now carries the rule blocking your .git folder, which is the very next thing in this video, and your old one does not. Bring the old one out to your home folder instead, the way it is on screen, and then re-add just your own lines to the new file. One file at a time, and never the whole folder back over the new code. One security note, and it matters more on a Linux server than anywhere else, because your server is probably reachable from the internet. Git init, or git clone if you took the first path, created that .git folder inside your web folder, and on a default configuration anyone could read it, which is enough to reconstruct your whole source tree. TicketsCAD now ships the rule that blocks this, so once you have pulled, you are already covered. To confirm, open your site address followed by /git/config. You want not found or forbidden. If a file comes back instead, one of two things is true. Either you are on nginx, which has no htaccess mechanism at all, so nothing is reading that file. Or you are on Apache with allo override set to none, which is the ship's default on Debian and Ubuntu. Either way the fix is the same, add the block to your server configuration instead. The project ships the exact lines for both. There is a ready-made nginx file in its docs folder, and a page called Web Server Hardening that covers nginx, Apache, and IIS. Both names are on screen. That is everything. You have Git installed, your folder connected to the project, and a routine you can repeat, backup, pull, migrate, reload. If you get stuck at any point, the written version of this walkthrough and the place to tell us about it are both on screen. A question from someone who got stuck is genuinely how most of these instructions got better,